Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're navigating the sometimes choppy waters of vacation choices.
We are. Specifically, cruises.
Exactly. We're asking that big question you hear floating around. Is a cruise vacation really travel? Or is it, something else? Maybe more of a curated, self-contained thing.
A floating resort, essentially.
You're right. So our mission today is to help you, the listener, figure out if cruising is your kind of getaway.
And we've got some great perspectives to draw on blog posts, articles, Life with Larissa, Wanderlust, Our Wonder-Filled Life, NerdWallet.
Yeah, a good mix of experienced cruisers and travel experts giving us the real scoop.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's start with the pros. Why do people love cruises? What's the big appeal?
Well, the thing that comes up again and again is this idea of it being all-inclusive, or mostly all-inclusive.
That's the hook, isn't it? The simplicity.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's more than just one price, psychologically speaking. It's like you're outsourcing almost all the decisions. It becomes effortless.
Yeah, one source called them cities on a ship, where, pretty much everything can be covered in that initial price. Food, your room, basic drinks like water, tea, some juices, entertainment too.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually possible to pay that price and then seriously not spend another cent on board if you don't want to.
And that's a big part of why it feels like such a good deal. All those inclusions, they sort of bundle together, making the whole vacation feel very self-sufficient.
Sustainable almost.
Right. And another practical point, payment plans. Lots of cruise lines offer them. That's a huge help for booking way in advance or if you're trying to coordinate a big group. You don't often get that with land vacations.
Speaking of groups, that seems to be another huge plus. Trying to plan a trip for lots of people with different ideas of fun, it's a nightmare sometimes.
Oh, definitely. Cruises really cut down on that planning stress.
Yes.
People could just show up.
One source made an interesting point, distinguishing between vacationers and travelers.
Mm-hmm.
Cruises seem to nail it for both types within a group.
That's key. Everyone can sort of divide and conquer, right?
Yeah.
You go to the trivia, I'll hit the pool. Maybe someone else wants the spa. Then you all meet up easily for dinner.
Super convenient.
And for families. It's massive. Those supervised kids clubs, often for tiny tots, right up to teens, like 18 sometimes, that's a game changer. Parents get real downtime, kids meet other kids.
Okay, so convenience, value, good for groups. What about the travel aspect? Seeing places.
Well, that's another big pro. You can easily sample several cities, even countries, on one trip.
It's like a road trip on the water, someone said.
Yeah, but without the constant packing and unpacking. That's the beauty of it. Your hotel room travels with you.
I read one account someone visited 12 countries on a single cruise. That's pretty impressive reach.
Absolutely, and just the simple fact you only unpack once. Huge. You can bring more stuff, those extra layers for Alaska, different outfits for the Caribbean nights.
Less hassle.
Way less hassle. And little things too, like you often bypass the long immigration lines at foreign ports, though you still do customs when you get back, obviously.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so you get to the places easily. What about on the ship? What is there to actually do between ports or on sea days?
Oh, wow. The ships themselves are packed. Casinos, big nightly shows, sometimes actual Broadway productions.
Really? Broadway?
Yeah, or at least Broadway style. Plus, trivia contests, sports courts, rock climbing walls, mini golf. Some even have those surf simulators.
The Flow Rider. I saw that mentioned. Someone called it, what, Harmony and World Peace?
Huh. Maybe a bit much, but yeah, people love it. And it gets pretty specific, too. Like, there's a bar run by robots.
A bionic bar, seriously.
Yep. Though apparently they don't make the drinks very strong. Still cool. Illusionists, themed trivia nights,
Sure.
Star Wars trivia even,
Yeah.
martini tasting classes. You can even blend your own Johnny Walker whiskey on some ships.
Okay, so definitely not boring.
Not usually, no. Plenty to keep you busy.
And food. We mentioned it's included, but is it good?
Generally, yes. Lots of variety. Beyond the main dining room and buffet, many ships have specialty restaurants. Some cost extra, some are actually included.
So you're not stuck with just one option.
Not at all. And there's a real trend now towards higher-end dining. Cruise lines are bringing in well-known chefs, aiming for unique, authentic food experiences.
Like who?
Well, there was mention of Darren McGrady, who used to be a chef for the British Royals, doing things for Princess Cruises. And Guy Fieri has his burger joints on Carnival ships.
Guy Fieri?
Yeah. And sources mention specific places people loved, like Giovanni's Cable or Maderno. Those cost extra, but also great included spots like Alfredo's for pizza. They're definitely upping their food game.
Seems like it. One last pro that stood out to me from the reading, the staff.
Ah, yes. Good service can make or break a trip, can't it?
Totally. And one source really raved about them, saying every staff member is uber nice and knowledgeable. Said they often know guests by name, mentioned their room attendant, Hannibal.
Wow, remembering names like that, that's impressive on a ship with thousands of people.
Right. That level of personal touch, it really changes the whole feel of the vacation, makes it feel special.
Okay, so we've laid out a pretty strong case for cruising. Convenience, value, activities, destinations.
It sounds pretty idyllic. But there's always a but, isn't there?
There usually is. For every upside, there's often a flip side, a trade-off.
So let's get into that, the cons. What are the downsides we need to consider?
This is where that convenience starts to show as compromises.
Top of the list for many, it seems, is the time you actually get in the ports.
Yeah, that's a big one. You typically only have, what, maybe 8 to 10 hours, sometimes less.
Which, as the sources point out, often isn't enough time to really get a feel for a place, to dive into the local culture.
Exactly. You're always kind of watching the clock, worried about getting back to the ship on time. And you even have to track ship time versus local time sometimes.
That sounds stressful.
It can be.
Yeah.
And it often means the areas right around the port are, well, very touristy.
The duty-free zones. Perfume, jewelry, booze, right as you step off the ship.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And if you book excursions through the cruise line, which is easy, but they can sometimes feel like tourist traps, designed for big groups, not necessarily authentic experiences.
So the advice there was to maybe research local guides yourself.
Yeah, if you want something more genuine, definitely look beyond the official cruise options. Seek it out.
Okay. What else? Another thing that comes up is, well, other people? Lots of them.
The crowds. Yes, it's unavoidable on a big ship. You've got thousands of people in one contained space.
Pool decks can get packed. Buffet lines can be long.
Mm-hmm. And it can lead to that feeling some people described of being sort of stuck on the cruise. You can't just wander off whenever you feel like it, especially if you want that deeper cultural dive ashore.
One source had a pretty graphic description of the pools.
Oh, I remember that one. Only 2 pools, one often closed and the other, well, let's just say disgusting, smelly, and salty was the quote, with kids maybe not getting out when they should.
Yikes.
Yeah. Now look, crowds are part of it. But the sources also mention that if you explore the ship, you can often find quieter spots, certain bars, lounges, maybe away from the main action. You just have to look.
Good point. Okay, let's talk money again. We started with all-inclusive, but how true is that really?
Well, this is where the asterisk comes in. One source, put it bluntly, one price is not always just one price.
Meaning
The basic cruise fare covers a lot, yes, but there are many, many ways to spend more money on board. Optional extras add up fast.
like the specialty restaurants we mentioned.
Exactly. And upgraded drink packages. That non-alcoholic one someone mentioned, $36 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Shore excursions, those can easily run $80, $100, even several $100s per person per port.
Wow.
And even some onboard activities might cost extra, like an all-access ship tour for $199. Or little things, like a $25 charge if you don't return your pool towel.
Get out, really?
Yep, it's in the fine print. And with those drink packages, there's that subtle pressure maybe to feel like you need to drink a lot to get your money's worth, which isn't ideal.
No, definitely not. So all-inclusive needs some careful budgeting around it.
Very much so.
What about the food? We said it's plentiful, but does it get boring?
It can, especially on a longer cruise.
Yeah.
Even if the main dining room menu changes daily, you're still eating in the same few environments. The buffet options might start to feel a bit samey after a week or two.
Makes sense.
And it's not just the food. For people who cruise a lot, the itineraries can get repetitive too.
How so?
Well, if you love cruising the Caribbean, for instance, you might find yourself visiting the same popular islands over and over. It can be harder to find itineraries that only go to places you've never been before.
Okay. That's a good point for repeat cruisers. Now, a practical one, motion sickness.
Yep, the motion of the ocean. It's a real concern for some people.
What's the advice there?
Bigger ships generally mean less motion, but also preventative measures help. Dramamine, one source, recommended starting it a couple of days before you even board, or those little patches you put behind your ear.
Right. Worth planning for if you're sensitive.
Definitely. And connected to that, but more serious, is the health concern. Being stuck on a ship if there's an outbreak of something.
Like norovirus or, well, COVID obviously highlighted this massively.
Exactly. Germs can spread incredibly quickly in that kind of closed environment. It's not just a small inconvenience. It's a serious potential risk people need to weigh.
A sobering thought. Any other little annoyances mentioned?
Just one minor one. I recall someone mentioned the bathroom in their cabin sometimes smelled a bit funky.
Uh-huh, okay. Not exactly the fresh sea air you were hoping for.
Not quite.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground. The good, the bad, the potentially smelly. What's the bottom line for you, the listener? How do you weigh all this up?
Yeah, how do you take all these points, the convenience, the cost, the crowds, the culture question, and actually make a decision?
Well, what struck me is how personal the experience seems to be. We heard from people who've done loads of cruises, 5, even 11, and they genuinely enjoy them, even while acknowledging the downsides.
Right. It suggests maybe the perception isn't always the reality. Even someone who thinks, oh, cruising isn't for me, might actually have a good time if they tried it.
And a key point that came through. Every cruise line is different, and every ship is different.
Absolutely vital. If your first cruise isn't amazing, it doesn't mean all cruises are like that. Maybe a different line, a smaller ship, a different itinerary would be perfect.
So, trying a shorter, cheaper cruise first, like 3 or 4 nights, sounds like really solid advice. Just to test the waters, literally.
Exactly. Dip your toe in.
Ultimately, it seems like you need to tailor it. Think about what you value. If you really hate crowds, maybe aim for a smaller ship, even if it has fewer bells and whistles.
Or if you know you want to be constantly entertained, choose one of those mega ships packed with activities.
And if seeing lots of places is the goal, focus on itineraries with many port stops, even if the time in each is short.
It just boils down to doing your homework. As we always say, critical thinking is key, especially with so much info out there. Use those cruise blogs, read reviews, really think about the pros and cons in relation to your travel style and who you're traveling with.
Yeah, like solo cruising is possible, but you often pay for the whole cabin anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we wrap up, here's maybe a final thought to chew on. A cruise can be seen in 2 ways, really.
Okay.
It can be that comprehensive, totally relaxing vacation where everything's taken care of, just show up and chill.
Sure.
Or it could be something else,
Like what?
like a strategic sampler platter of destinations.
I see where you're going. Use the cruise not as the final experience of a place, but as a way to scout it out.
Exactly. Use it to determine places you want to return to for a longer, deeper visit later on.
That's a fascinating way to frame it. So the question for you, the listener, becomes, what kind of traveler are you? And how could a cruise fit into or maybe even reshape your travel plans?
Lots to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of cruises.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions.
And keep discovering. Until next time.